You can't walk away from me. No one can.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're looking at 2023 video games we pity any players for spending money on.
Got him.
Number 10, Unholy.
Get her! Don't let her interrupt this ceremony.
In this stealth survival horror game, players control a mother searching for her child who has been kidnapped and taken into a haunting alternate world. But with so many problems, we'd forgive you for giving up on her mission. From its focus on a religious cult to its bland enemy designs, Unholy is fairly by-the-numbers horror, which means it isn't very scary.
Move along.
Yes. Follow me.
Even if the story wasn't uninspired, you'd still have the frustrating controls that are awful for stealth, a myriad of technical problems, repetitive combat and puzzles, and some pretty poor voice acting. While some praise the level of detail in its two worlds, that doesn't matter when the game is so unfun to play.
Let our pain be our immolation. Let fire be where we find solace. Let the cleansing begin.
Number 9, Crime Boss, Rocky City. In some cases, getting film actors to star in games can lead to greatness, but this obviously isn't one of those cases. Rocky City may have piqued our interest with its focus on heists in a cast that includes Chuck Norris, Danny Glover, and Kim Basinger, but once people got to try it, they found it to be quite hollow. None of the cast puts in performances worthy of their past time in crime films, which means they can't carry the paper-thin plotlines. We wouldn't need them to if the gameplay was any fun. But it all amounts to simple first-person shooting within levels and missions we've played through a million times before, and in much better games.
A nominal success. I hope it proves to be lucrative.
Number 8, Testament: The Order of High Human. When you try to do too much and succeed at nothing, you get a game like Testament. The first-person action RPG is set in a fantasy open world with Metroidvania elements. While that's incredibly enticing on paper, the developers fumbled the ball in nearly every category. The story, about a king usurped by his evil brother, never goes beyond exactly what you'd expect, and neither does its generic setting.
Our Creator, the truth to all things, the one who creates.
Combat is maddeningly simple with little to no variety, which becomes infuriating as the game throws groups of enemies at you. Then you have the unifying factor across all bad games, a ton of bugs. Considering Skyrim came out in 2011 and still does everything better, there's no incentive to explore here. Number 7, Loop 8, Summer of Gods.
Humanity has fought the long defeat. Space offered us renewed hope. But even that escape route went up in flames.
The JRPG genre grows more popular every year. Sadly, that means when one misses the mark as badly as Loop 8 did, it draws much more universal hatred. Set in an alternate Japan during the 1980s, it follows humanity's fight against demons. You might think that sounds pretty generic, and you'd be absolutely right. Nothing about the story, characters, or writing leaves much of an impression, which is something that an RPG definitely needs to nail.
For family reasons, Miss Ichika's affairs are shrouded in mystery, but I've been told to mind my own business.
The other elements it needs is a satisfying gameplay hook, but the game's mechanics are simplistic, leading to a lot of repetition and boredom. With a genre as crowded as this, one needs something to stand out. But we have a feeling Loop 8 is destined to be forgotten.
I really am cursed, after all.
Number 6, Redfall.
Jake, what's it like to talk with a frickin' bird?
Ain't much of a conversationalist. Just shows me what I need to see.
The stage was set for Redfall to be great. It had the allure of taking back a city from vampires and what seemed to be varied character classes. But the most promising facet was developer Arcane, crafter of Deathloop and the Dishonored series. When players got their hands on it, they found one of the most disappointing titles of 2023. The setup was actually quite dull and the combat uninspired. The decision to tie progress to the host was confusing. Joining a friend online meant you'd have to replay missions to keep rewards. However, what insulted us most were the bugs. Constant crashes, missing assets, frequent texture pop-ins, missions that didn't clear upon completion. It was a giant mess and a poor exclusive for Xbox players.
You will never see the sun again.
Number 5. Grey Hill Incident.
Is Rachel in there?
God, I hope not. You should stop bothering me.
What's going on with you, Henry? Tell me.
While some players commended Grey Hill Incident for its atmosphere, the indie survival horror game has almost nothing else to offer. Players control a conspiracy theorist proven right when his son is taken by aliens. Many may use the term walking simulator derogatorily, but that's exactly what this is.
It'll take me a few minutes to get it done.
Bob, that's great. That's what I needed to hear.
There are no objective markers, so you'll spend a lot of time wandering around. And when you're not aimlessly walking about, you'll have to endure a clunky control scheme as you attempt to hide from the aliens. The writing is also extremely subpar, failing to drum up any scares or make you care about its protagonist. Even with a short playtime, it's a rough experience.
Well, after Ryan was abducted, his dog Max came along, and together we're now on our way to meet this mysterious man. I mean, that was the Grey Hill Incident.
Number 4. Avatar: The Last Airbender, Quest for Balance.
To lavish upon me the tale of the Avatar from the beginning.
Despite the potential, Avatar has never gotten a truly good game adaptation, but Quest for Balance is one of the absolute worst. It takes the compelling story from the TV series and completely butchers it. Many exciting moments are dumbed down to simple text screens, while some you get to play through are presented out of order. Even still, gameplay is some of the most lazy we've ever seen.
Better watch out.
An abundance of sliding block puzzles and endless runner sections make it feel like this was meant for mobile. What should be a highlight for an Avatar game, the combat, boils down to button-mashing nonsense. While the franchise continues to progress through TV, comics, and novels, Quest for Balance is a massive step backwards.
That wasn't too tough.
Number 3. The Walking Dead Destinies. The concept of taking events in The Walking Dead and letting the player change them through their decisions sounds intriguing, but even the most diehard of zombie fans should stay away from this one.
What do you think's gonna happen when you show up without me?
It's a dangerous world out there, Mr. Yo.
Destinies dropped late in the year with little fanfare, surprising given the huge IP. Those that took the time to look found it to be so messy, it's borderline unplayable. Major technical issues like stilted frame rates and a ton of texture clipping would already make it unfun, but the clunky controls and still image cutscenes already do a pretty good job of it. As one of the biggest names in horror around, The Walking Dead certainly deserves better than this.
What are you people doing here?
None of your concern.
Don't tell me what's my concern.
You're free now. Why are you still here?
Number 2. Skull Island: Rise of Kong. When Rise of Kong was released, one particularly bad cutscene went viral. Well, we're here to tell you that that's only the tip of the iceberg. Players control Kong after his parents are killed and must explore Skull Island while seeking vengeance. Its visuals are horrible, even compared to games that came out 20 years ago. The combat consists of the simple beat-em-up mechanics. And what should be a lush, engaging environment is severely hindered by poor level design. GameMill Entertainment, the same publisher of Quest for Balance, reportedly forced crunch on developer Iguanabee to get the game out in a year. It's no surprise that it turned out to be such an abysmal mess. Before we reveal our worst top pick, here are a few dishonorable mentions. Clive and Wrench, a bland 3D platformer that's not really as fun as those that inspired it. Quantum Error, a promising premise ruined by poor performance and mediocre storytelling. Colossal Cave. In a year of great remakes, this one was a dud.
You're in a dirty, broken passage. To the east is a crawl. To the west is a large passage. Above, you see a hole to another passage.
Hellboy: Web of Word. Strong visuals couldn't save it from boring gameplay. DreamWorks All-Star Kart Racing. Not much to offer beyond its popular characters.
Light it up!
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure to go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. The Lord of the Rings, Gollum.
Leave us. I want to hear what he has to say.
Kong may be a king, but he couldn't overthrow the rule of Gollum. In a world as vast and magical as Middle-earth, it's astounding that fans got a game as poor as this. Set between The Hobbit and the trilogy, players control Gollum on a journey to reclaim the One Ring. But good luck making it through the game to actually see what happens, because boring doesn't even begin to cover it.
Hey, who wants to join the brainless maggots down there?
What is it doing?
You'll walk, climb, hide, and that's about it. Or rather, you'll try to do those things since the game is so full of bugs, your patience will be tested on two fronts. That's not to mention the horrendous visuals. The game was so poorly received that Daedalic Entertainment fired its development division to solely focus on publishing. Ouch. Did you play any of these terrible games? Are there any stinkers that we left off? Share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more great gaming videos.
Why are you doing this to me?
In the mood for more awesome gaming content? Be sure to check out this video here on Mojo Plays. And don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.